All right. So, first of all, okay, so today it is the 11th today. We're doing the review. So the handout I just gave you, it's the review we're going to do together in class. Okay. Then you have tonight to study, test tomorrow. Okay. So let's get started with the review. Unit X review. So it's all those IXLs and X, the whole unit, other than, I think we skipped 3 and 11. Okay. 78 points. Your test is going to be 78 points because each problem is worth 3 points. Question. Oh, someone else? Okay. So we're going to have, again, 3 points each. So I just put that in a little note, small there, so you can see that. And that is so when you do your test and you get your test back, you can do corrections for 1 point return. Everything's worth 3, so you can do 1 point back with correct test corrections. Okay, and then you can also retake the test if you need to. So to start off with, and basically the test follows the IXLs. So the beginning questions are going to be in the beginning section. Okay, the middle questions in the middle, and the last questions are towards the end. Okay, it's going to flow in that way. So evaluate the expression of x equals 4. So for number 1, you should know how to do this from a review. So go ahead and do number 1. If you don't have a calculator, get one out. Because remember, you can't use your computer calculator right now. It'll be a distraction. So we just go 9 times 4. We substitute the 4 in for the x. 9 times 4 is 36. So the answer is 36.
Are you recording?
I am. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. Yep.
Is there a negative button on the calculator?
I don't know how to make it negative.
Oh, I see it.
On these calculators, though, are you talking on one of these or?
I'm talking about the-
Oh, yes, there's a negative button. I don't have one of those up here. Oh, here it is. So the negative button is here. So you would put in, if you needed to, the number 5 clear. You would put negative, then 5 on this calculator. You'd hit the negative first. What's the question? Question? Oh, okay. All right. So, number 2, go ahead. Hopefully, with the use of your calculator, you can get it right.
What is that noise?
They're cutting out the wall in the hall.
Oh, so that they can.
That's why there's the border up. All right, so if I did my math right, we get negative 22. 3 times x, x is 4, so 3 times 4 is 12. Now, at this point, you can either do the negative 10 minus 12 on your calculator and get negative 22, or you can change this to adding the opposite, so it'd be plus a negative 12. Okay, negative 10 plus negative 12 is a negative 22. All right, go ahead, number 3.
That's today or tomorrow?
That's tomorrow. So the question again is the test today, and we talked about it. Today we're doing the review. Tomorrow we will do the test. So number 3, we get 7. Questions? Substitute the number in, follow order of operations. Go ahead, number 4. Sixteen divided by 4 is 4. So we get 4. Just a kind of a hint, what do I do to change this into the actual test? I'm going to guess most likely I change the 4 to a new number, and then this would divide out evenly depending on the number I go to, so I would probably change this number as well. All the other ones could probably stay the same way. So the processes are going to be the same, okay, for the most part. All right, number 5, evaluate the expressions. This is just a little bit more complex than what we just did on those 4 problems. We have x is 3, y is 6. Go ahead, substitute and evaluate. Six minus 37 is a negative 31. We have to multiply and then subtract. Number 6.
When we get our first result back.
When we get done going through this. Hopefully there's time.
When I'm done with this, can I work on some answers, please?
After I give you your, yes, you can. This is 2 times y, so it's 2 times 6 divided by x, which is 3. So that is 12 divided by 3, 4. Make sure if you have questions you ask. I cannot read your mind. Number 7. If I start going too fast, please let me know, okay? And I'll slow down. 9 minus 24 is a negative 15. Okay, number 8. Five, correct?
Yep.
Somebody else got it? Okay. All right, so substitute the values in. Y is 6, x is 3, I multiply before I add, so I get 12 plus 3. Again, multiply before I subtract, so I get 6 minus 3. And then I add before I'm going to divide, because that dividing is a grouping symbol. Groups everything in the top, groups everything in the bottom. So I get 15 divided by 3 is 5. Number 9, absolute value. Remember, absolute value is always
Positive.
positive. Thank you. When you do the absolute value, the action of absolute value is positive. Go ahead, number 9. So we have a -8 minus x inside the absolute value. X is 5. -8 minus 5. Again, use your calculator. Change subtracting to adding the opposite. You need to get -13. And then the absolute value of a -13 is 13. Go ahead, number 10. This is 2 times the absolute value. Okay? We have to figure out the absolute value of 5 is 5, so it's 2 times 5 is 10. So we get 8 minus 10 is a -2. So 10, -2. Even though there's an absolute value in the problem, you can end up with a negative answer. When I did the absolute value step, we get a positive. Then I don't have absolute value anymore. That's done. Okay? Go ahead, number 11. We're going to do everything inside of the absolute value first before I do the absolute value. X is 5, so 2 times 5 is 10, and 10 plus 4 is 14. Then I do the absolute value, 14. Number 12. Hopefully you got 20. If not, you really need to pay attention. Okay? So we substitute the 5 in for the x. This is 3 times x, so it's a -3 times x, so it's a -3 times 5. That is a -15 minus 5. And a -15 minus 5 is a -20. Absolute value of a -20 is 20. Number 13. Number 13 is square root. You're asking yourself what number times itself gives me that number inside of the square root. So the square root of 16 is 4. Eight times 8 is 64, so the square root of 64 is 8. We had to go 4 times 16, and 4 times 16 is 64. 15. We get 5. 16 plus 9 is 25. The square root of 25 is 5 because 5 times 5 is 25. Number 16. Remember now, you are supposed to be trying the problem before I do it, right? Some of you are further ahead, that's fine, but don't wait for me to do it to write down the answer. You try it. First of all, I'm going to say this again, and some of you still aren't going to believe me, but notice how all of these answers were a whole number. If you do the problem and it's not working out to a whole number, you probably did something wrong. Does everyone follow?
Yeah.
Okay? Because I haven't taught you how to do square roots of non-perfect squares. Okay? Not yet, anyways. So, all of these, you get a whole number answer. Please remember on your test, you're also going to get a whole number answer. Also, all of these are positive. Okay? All right. Only way it would be a negative is if I had a negative out front, which we won't. Okay? All right. Number 17, 18, 19, and 20 are your property questions. It is the 4 properties. Notice on all of these, we have the same 4 properties listed. They're just not listed in the same order. Okay? So, number 17. When you're looking at 17, you have to know which of these properties it is. And hopefully, for 17, you get B. If you know 17 is B, the commutative property, not the B, the commutative property, then you know none of these other ones can be the commutative property. Okay? Notice though down here, the commutative property is A. Okay, I did not do these, they're the same here and here, but then they're different down here. Here and here they're the same. Okay, do you ever follow that? Okay, they're not the same all the way through. Okay, all right. So, out of the 3 that are remaining, figure out the ones you know, then by process of elimination, hopefully you can get them all right. I'll give you a little longer time on this. See if you can match up those properties. Just a second. 18 is D, the distributive property. 19 is the associative property, also turns out to be D. And 20, it is the multiplicative inverse, B. Questions? You got to have those memorized. You got to know which ones are which. You got to be able to match them up. All right. 21, 22, distributive property. Go ahead, do number 21. You're simplifying the expression. That means you're going to get rid of the parentheses and combine like terms if you have them. You multiply the distributive property, you multiply the 7 times the 3x minus the 7 times the 5. So you get 21x minus 35, or you could have plus a negative 35. Same thing, okay? 21x minus 35 or 21x plus a negative 35, either one. Number 22. Multiplying it out, we have to multiply the 7 times both. So we get 14x plus 28. Go ahead, 23. Most of you didn't rewrite this. You just went 7 plus 3 is 10, and then 10 minus 1 is 9. But you have to remember that is 1x. Okay, that's minus x, which is the same as minus 1x. Okay, or you can change it to adding a negative, adding the opposite. Okay, so we get 9x. Okay, 24. That plus that. These are this x, so like term, that term. Finish simplifying and plus the negative 1. Okay, we have to combine all like terms. Okay. Well, it's how you want to think of it. You can think of it as 3 minus 5 or 3 minus a negative, 3 plus a negative 5. Okay? That's, again, why I would rewrite all subtracting to adding the opposite. Okay, so your final answer, 3x plus a negative 2 and 3x minus 2, these are the same thing. Okay, they're the same expressions. All right. In here, I again would suggest changing subtracting to adding the opposite. So that way you don't get confused. Are you subtracting, or subtracting, adding? And then the like terms will give me 3x, and then the constant like terms will give me the negative 2. So 3x plus a negative 2, or you could have 3x minus 2. All right, 25. Okay, so first of all, you are subtracting all of this. So you're going to subtract the 2x and subtract the 9. Then I rewrote all my subtractings to adding the opposite. Then combine like terms. 4x and negative 2x is 2x. And then the negative 5 and the negative 9 will give me negative 14. And again, you can have your answer 2x plus a negative 14 or 2x minus 14. Questions on that one? Again, the common mistake is for people to not subtract the 9. You have to have the minus 9 and minus the 2x. You have to subtract them both. And then if you change everything to adding the opposite, that helps. All right, go ahead. Number 26. All right, so first of all, I changed the subtracting to adding the opposite. So you guys, please do that. So you see that we're adding here a negative 4 and a negative 5. So when you multiply this out, you get the negative 4x plus positive 20. Some of you might have did minus a minus 20. That's fine. Okay, some of you might have minus 4x. That's fine, as long as you get the right answer. Okay, 4x plus a negative 4x is 0x, which is just 0. Okay, do not write in here 0x plus 26. No, that'll be wrong. Okay, that's 0. And then the 6 plus 20 is 26, so then this is just 26 because this is 0. Okay, so we just get 26. Questions? All right, I have a little bit more for you, and that is how to study for math. Because I always get, how do we study?
Can I go to the freezer?
Not yet. You gotta learn how to study first. All right, so first thing. One of the first things you got to make sure you have all your assignments completed, okay, that you did them. So if you cheated and you had somebody else do the assignment for you, go back and redo it. Okay? Does everyone follow that? 2. Read the notes. Okay? Go back and reread through the notes. Reread through those examples and the problems. 3. Now let me explain this one. Okay? What is math? Math is practicing doing the problems. Okay? So go back and do a couple problems from each IXL. Do 2 or 3 of them. Okay? If in this process you get a higher score, awesome. Fill out one of these, right? And then get the higher score. If you get a lower score, I'm not going to go back and lower your score. Okay? The score you have right now, because they're all entered, the score you have right now is the score you're going to have unless you raise it. Okay? Or unless I made a mistake. Okay? So make sure you're done with all the assignments, read through the notes, and then do some IXLs. And another really good one is review is probably better. Review your quizzes. Okay? So when I write a test, I'm looking at the notes, the IXLs. All the notes come from actual problems on IXL. Okay? Your quizzes, all the problems come right from IXL. Okay? Your tests, they come right from IXL. All of it's in the same format. Okay? Doing the same thing. This is how you study. Questions? Study